Hey everybody, how are you? I was talking to an athlete today. We've shifted from triathlon training to life coaching and whatnot, and she's working on some specific things and working on making some permanent changes. And when you want to make permanent changes, yeah, you need to practice, you need to be consistent, you need to go do hard stuff. But there's a softer side of things, the mental side of things that there's a skill set to be had to be making changes, big lifestyle, habitual type of changes, and sometimes those are really hard to make. So we were having a really good conversation, and we stumbled on some things, and so I thought I would share with that. I've made some rough notes, so here we go. And I think this is like super important right now because the mental health stuff right now is hinky. There's a lot of stress, and trying to find a place of peace and calm and resilience can be difficult because let's just be honest about it. Life feels sort of unsafe right now. We don't have a lot of control over some things, and some things maybe don't freaking make a lick of sense, and some things do. And you know, for those of us that are social butterflies, holy shit, man. Some of us are starving of human interaction, and it's incredibly difficult. So anyway, I wanted to share with you what I do as a weekly, daily kind of habit to cultivate more mental strength, resilience, grit, in a soft way. I have previously done this type of activity doing running, so not as soft. And I have found a softer way of doing this that's fun and enjoyable. So if you don't like planners, zoom out and realize it doesn't have to be a planner. I do think that some of this stuff you do need to kind of embrace some of it, but we'll talk about it along the way. So what in the world is she talking about? First off, I go through each week and I reflect on what has happened and how happy I am with some things. And I would want to collect some of that and make sure that maybe that happened again, and what I wasn't happy with, and mostly about my decisions and things that I can control. So I have this time of reflection on what I need to do next week. What do I need to focus on? And I call them focus words, and there are two because they usually balance each other out, kind of like that hot, cold, yin-yang idea, okay? So I reflect, and sometimes, you know, these things come through interacting with people. Maybe someone, hey, how you doing? How are you feeling? What's been going on? What do you need? And asking yourself, what do I need? And the interesting point is, and I've heard this a lot, is people don't know, I don't know nothing about what you're doing, and I'm not a blah, 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 blah. The really cool thing about when you're getting really honest and showing up and the other person is showing up, sometimes you get the best ideas or the best things that you need from somebody that don't know nothing about nothing like you necessarily. It could be a complete stranger, and they will hear you, they'll reflect on what they thought, and it'll be like, oh wow, check that out, that was pretty cool. So this is where the social aspect comes in, that we are social creatures. We are designed to talk to each other. We are designed to interact. We are designed to listen and give feedback to help the other person. So I do that kind of stuff just in my daily thing and weekly thing, and then I claim a focus word. And this word means energy. So I am trying to gather some part of an energy, calm energy, strong energy, etc., and install it. Okay? And I claim it, and I say that word specifically, and let me show you what I mean by that. So when I say claim, this is my planner, and this is a Plum Papers planner. Don't let it freak you out. You can do this on a sticky note. See, I do a sticky note right there, right? This means do requests, not demands, okay? This is me claiming this because it's on my Mac and I see it all the time. So claiming it, if it goes into my planner that I have spent oodles of time in, and, you know, I've invested lots of time and energy. So these week's focus words were tree. This came from a conversation with a friend of mine, and faith. And this one has been probably for the last 3 months of faith, you know, and this one's a tough one. Live by faith. Ha. And these other ones are kind of like, here's what I really need to focus on, like a couple of little things. So these two things don't really support each other like yin yang. Tree does that all by itself. It's grounded, and it's also reaching up for the light. And within this tree, you know, I'd had a conversation with this person talking about, well, you know, what if your foundation where you're putting your roots is just like crap? What if it's, you know, Hurricane Katrina has come through and just destroyed the foundation of things? How do you become grounded? And so we had a conversation around that piece, and it was really interesting. That would be a really good live talk too. But faith has been an interesting one. And so this is more of a do. This is more of a how to live and the mental thoughts that go with this chat. And then so there's the rest of my planner, crazy. So claiming the faith energy, that's a big one. I was listening to an amazing podcast today about, gosh, I don't know, I was mowing and it was in the middle of it. I need to circle back around and find it. But one of the things that they said in there was when you're trying to make these mental shifts, it's easier to do it, and it's more permanent when you are installing it, investing in it when you're in a place of gratitude. That's partly why the gratitude practice works so much. You use different parts of your brain and your being, and you're more engaged in a different, permanent, more deeper subconscious way. Gratitude. Fear does it also. Fear and pain and suffering like that changes behaviors quickly too, unfortunately. However, so gratitude does it, love does it, humor does it. So lately I have been doing this practice and working on something very specific within mental stuff for me and emotional stuff for me is faith, and how to live more by faith. That's easy to say, and maybe some people don't understand how to do that or make that change, because we have these negative thoughts that come up, and then so what do? You have to crowd in good. It's kind of hard sometimes too when everything's going so weird lately and stress and busy. It's hard to combat those moments right then. And so we can develop a stronger mental habit, default knee-jerk reaction, Tourette, to operate more by faith outside of when in the moment of needing to exercise that. It's really interesting. I first learned this like super a lot when I'm learning how to swim without panic and repeating to myself, be strong, you are stronger each time I did a swim stroke. And I did that in a marathon run on Ironman Texas. Every time I landed, you are stronger, you're grateful. And so that really changed my being, and then it helped to instill a more positive and constructive default emotional habit, okay? So what I'm doing right now is doing a repetitive action, just like meditating, just like praying. Walking meditation is similar to that. Running can be that. Anything that's very repetitive to where you can focus on this task at hand, focus on live by faith, live by faith, live by faith, or just say faith, faith, faith. And if you can put humor, get yourself into a humorous state where you're feeling happy and funny and you're enjoying watching something, or a state of gratitude, it goes deeper into your subconscious. thus it becomes a better, stronger knee-jerk, what you do first. So what I've been doing is doing these diamond dot thingies. And it's just perfect because it incorporates movement, which gets you into a different part of your brain than the thing that you're trying to fix. And if you have never done these, it's time consuming, can be addictive. I use this little stylus to pick up these little things and fill in this picture. So let me show you what I'm doing. So this is the wolf that I'm doing, right? And these are the little diamond dot thingies with your stylus, right? And you go and you pick one up, and then it's color coded for you, and you put one down, right? Each time I put something down, I say faith. Each and every time. Each time one of these little diamond dot thingies has been put down, I have repeated inside my mind, faith. Have faith, live by faith, do that. And I have come to really enjoy the practice and how I get myself into a fun state, receptive state. I've been watching Nurse Jackie, which has nothing to do with anything I'm trying to do. Emotionally, mentally, the energy specifically, but I enjoy the show, so it gets me into a happy state. Watching Grey's Anatomy would do the same thing. I like watching The Walking Dead, but I tried doing that and the energies didn't match. Don't tell me why watching Nurse Jackie does, because that one's an awful show too. It's like watching Breaking Bad. Anyway, so each time you put this down, have faith. Or if you wanted to be stronger or calmer, you would just say that word. And it can be in the back of your head. You could be watching a show and whatnot. And I've watched Nurse Jackie, so I wasn't like completely watching it. Most of my internal and serious focus was on saying, have faith each time I put these down. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I was talking to this athlete and we were talking about how to make these changes. Sometimes these changes are really tough to make. And when you can stumble on a habit that, actually feels good. She's doing paint by numbers paintings, and that works for her. So I was like, okay, each time you dip your paint into that well, that what she gets, you could think about grabbing a little bit of, for her, I'm not sure what she's gonna do, maybe strength, resilience. She's gonna grab a little bit of that and put it on, and when she puts it on, she's gonna understand that it's putting it inside of her soul. So there's a lot of different ways that you could do that. Crocheting and whatnot can all do that, and it's so powerful because if you can get yourself into an artistic state, even if you don't do art, that doesn't matter. If you don't journal or if you don't do doodling, everybody can doodle. Everybody's brain works like that. Just because you say that you can't doodle the word faith doesn't mean that your drawing of the word faith and putting it in a color, adding the color really helps with juju, because if you can find a color that you like that's getting you into that state, a different state of being of deeper, more subconscious, when you use like a favorite color that you have, investing that energy into there. So the movement of it helps to use different parts of the brain and kind of change up the quality of what you're doing. And the repetition of it is this is the same type of thing that meditation is supposed to be doing. It's just something that you're intentional focusing on, and you can add a whole bunch of good gusto. Really, if you wanted to kick this up a notch, you could add another sense to it. Like you could have, if you like lavender oil and you're working on being calm, You could add lavender oil, on the back of your hand if you were doing this, and you would smell it a little bit stronger each time it came close to your face. So adding as many senses as you can. Sight, writing is the same, but color is sort of a different variant of sight, which brings in different parts of your being. Hearing, maybe it would be better to listen to a spiritual thing instead of watching Nurse Jackie. Whatever it is, though, that helps you get into a laughter, smiling, or a gratitude state is where the money's at. The last thing that I want to say from my notes is that when what I was telling this athlete is that I'm starting to see a better habit on when I react. It's not necessarily one thing. This one is sort of adding into it. I saw a meme that said if you have a negative thought, think of 3 positive things, continue to do that, and your neurofiring will change, which is a fact. And this is what this is doing. And I was telling her that living by faith, I'm starting to see where it's actually, I'm starting to change with some of my reactions with some things. So I found that super interesting that this diamond dot thing, I like the wolf too, so that really helps out a lot. This diamond dot thing with this repetitive faith is actually making a very noticeable difference in surviving this world, in the stuff going on, but developing more mental grit and resilience and whatnot. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope you found this helpful. Namaste.